Cortes,
Steve Cortes.
Steve Cortes.
Steve Cortes.
Steve Cortes.
Tell me something that makes me happy.
First, I do believe absolutely that it's more needed in America.
And America is a young and growing power.
The politics of class warfare is not what we need in America now. We need policies of growth.
I'm not sure we talk enough about stifling regulation and what a hurdle that is to growing this economy and particularly to entrepreneurial capitalism. And
5 of the top 10 earning zip codes in America are now in the D.C. area. That's not because D.C. is innovating, that's because D.C. is sucking money from the rest of the country, and that's a problem.
Momentum stocks have led the march higher. It has not been the normal sort of prosaic type of winners that you want to see lead the market higher. So I think it's a time to be cautious.
I know this is anecdotal, but I have an 8-year-old son, and he is a sports fanatic. He and all of his friends, they think Nike is for me. They think it's for us, for the old guys. They all want Under Armour. I'm telling you, this is the wave of the future. In an era of a 2% 10-year note yield, I do think that the yield on Intel, because it's one of the few big cap tech names that pays a healthy dividend, I think that is very attractive. If it were to decline, I would definitely be interested in getting in again or other old tech names.
Believe it or not, I've made money shorting it, but I've been very nimble in shorting it. But regardless, that doesn't matter. All people remember is that I said something bearish about Apple on the air, and I will tell you that Apple is a cult like no other. Apple stockholders. I have grandmas in the street flipping me the bird in Chicago, telling me, nice job on Apple, Cortes.
I think, is it concerning? Sure. When the second biggest stock market in the world gets hit hard, it is concerning. But look, Turning Japanese was a terrible song by the Vapors many years ago, and it's a bad thesis right now.
I would make a very poor conquistador because I have no lust for gold at all.
I am not remotely a fan of QE. I think no one ever devalues their way to prosperity.
The energy revolution, the shale and fracking revolution, has happened in spite of Washington, not because of Washington. And thankfully, we have some states, North Dakota, Texas, Pennsylvania, that are far more free market oriented.
To me, the greatest risk to America right now, the greatest risk, is that we are following, in many ways, the Chinese model. Now, we're nowhere near that bad, but we are creeping toward that vision of a centrally planned economy, because quantitative easing is central planning at its core. It is the government deciding the allocation of capital. And it is also an incredible distrust of the ability of American capitalism to regenerate. I believe it shows no confidence at all in the dynamism of the American economy.
The problem that a lot of folks, including myself, have with the Export-Import Bank is that it is emblematic of crony capitalism, and that is not really capitalism at all.
Japan is a country now, by the way, with a funny but also sad characteristic. It's the only country in the world that sells more adult diapers than baby diapers.
And I think that the economy here is very resilient and very strong. However, I believe the international overhangs are persisting and perhaps even getting worse.
If demographics is destiny, and I believe it is, we know Japan is going to continue to descend, and I argue that China is on a similar trajectory. Now, I will say, when I first looked at the agenda and I saw 9 a.m. slot in Las Vegas, I said, wow, that's a tough one. That slot is a little bit like being the bartender at a Romney family reunion. It has the potential to be difficult and boring, but I don't think it's going to be. I'm hoping that you all have woken up and shaken the cobwebs off, and that you're ready to talk about financial markets and ready to talk about the world and what I see going on in the world and how it impacts you and your money and your businesses.